Good evening, everybody. This is a first in the realms of the Lyric Professors. We are going to do a face-to-face interview. Actually, not on the other side of the world for once. Yes, Professor Dogger is attacking Professor J with a plastic bone at the moment. She hasn't seen him in quite some time. What we're going to do, if people can stop throwing things, is this is going to be a quick interview with Professor J about his experiences seeing the Sisters of Mercy.
The Sisters of Mercy, indeed.
In a place in the other side of the world.
Indeed.
So, Professor J, how was the concert?
The concert was good. Good. So, yeah, it was... I really wanted to see them. And I'm really glad that I have seen them. It was a bit of a letdown, to be honest with you. I didn't enjoy it as much as I was really hoping to enjoy it. I would say that's the thing.
Right.
I was really expecting to just love the flip out of it.
Right. I think the question that needs to be asked after things I've read on the web is, how many guitarists did you see?
2.
Oh, there were 2.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's talk about what I saw, right? So the acts before were excellent. I've completely forgotten their name. 2 guys.
It's probably called 2 guys.
It was, yeah, 2 guys. Really good. So they were really good. Go and see those 2 guys. We'll put the link below. They were really good. No, but it was quite impressive because they had a really good sound, even though it was just a drummer and a guitarist. The guitarist was controlling a few rhythms, but he was pretty much big pedal board into loud amp. Really good. So yeah, so then the Sisters came on, and you had Mr. Heavy Metal Guitar, who was constantly changing his guitars. Every song it was a different guitar. He had like he had an SG, he had an Explorer, he had a Strat. And he was buff. He was like cut off t-shirt, like mega muscly, big guy, big young guy. Then there was a lady guitar player who was playing kind of mainly sort of rhythm, sort of acoustic guitar. She played a lot of acoustic guitar. She played either an acoustic guitar or a Strat, and again they were changing every song. And she was she's of Asian descent. My guess is that she was Japanese, but I could be horribly wrong. Then there was a dude at the control box.
The doctor? No, the nurse. That's what he's called.
Is he the nurse? So yeah, so a dude at the nurse didn't really do much, smiled a bit, and he was sat behind this sort of mega console of stuff.
That would be the doctor.
Doctor
Avalanche.
Doctor Avalanche, yeah. And then there was this kind of weird little guy stumbling around in the middle, who was Andrew Eldritch. So the thing that the 2 things that really struck me were the first that, I mean, you said be prepared that they're not going to play any of the bangers.
Well, not many.
That wasn't strictly true. I would say bear in mind I haven't really listened to any of the new stuff. I've only listened to the early 90s classics, 80s and 90s classics. And I would say half of the set, if not a tiny bit more, was the old classics.
Right, that's good.
And Eldritch barely looked at the audience.
Really?
Barely interacted at all with the audience until later. Now, I don't know if he'd hurt his leg or had some sort of injury, but he was just kind of hobbling around like he had a bad leg, and he was just a bit lost. I found it a bit odd, and it wasn't until right at the end of the set when he sort of came up and he was sort of doing this sort of putting his arms up type thing and
doing
sort of,
his I'm an anteater job.
Yeah, that sort of thing. So he did that right at the end. That was really the first time that he interacted with the audience.
And
most of the
he
time,
doesn't always interact with the audience. He just sort of growls some words at them occasionally.
yeah, but he wasn't even looking at the audience. He was looking. He wasn't really looking forward ever. He was looking to the side, looking at the other. So the thing that really annoyed me as a guitarist was the sound quality. I couldn't work it out. So in the background there was a Kemper. So a Kemper is one of these high-end modelling amps, and it was on display. I mean, they're not big, they're not this sort of size, but it's one of these really good modelling heads that clearly the buff lead guitarist was playing through.
Right. Do you think that possibly Eldritch was stumbling around looking lost because he didn't know who these strange guitarists on stage were?
I mean, if they were substitutes, they were incredible, because technically and sonically they were excellent. So I'm a bit of a geek on the sort of technology side and all that, and especially the lead guitarist didn't make a single mistake. He did not play a single duff note. So much so, but the sound coming out was very compressed, and it didn't sound. It had no life to it.
Right.
It kind of felt. It was loud, but it was flat. And then the other guitarist, the rhythm guitarist, she was playing constantly, and I would say that at least 30% of the time she was either so far down in the mix that I couldn't hear her, and it wasn't that loud. That I did have it. I always wear earplugs. It wasn't that. Oh, I didn't bring my earplugs. It wasn't that loud that I needed to have my earplugs in. So it wasn't that it was sort of overwhelmed by the Doctor audio badger. But I couldn't really hear her, so much so that I was wondering if she was miming. And the same with the other guitarist. I was thinking, is he miming? But there was no way. He was just very, very clean, very good, very professional. So I got to about 2/3 of the way through the gig. I was just kind of frustrated because it just didn't feel alive.
Yeah.
Partly because of Eldritch's behaviour, and partly just this very sterile sound. And then they started to play a few of the bangers, and I think it really picked up when they did Vision Thing, which was incredible. I wouldn't have thought that was such a killer track.
Yes, well, it's the sort of big, embracing heavy metal track, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was knockout. And I was there with my wife, who had never really listened to the Sisters of Mercy, and she said at the end, sorry?
Never will again.
No, what she said at the end, that she really enjoyed it, and she danced the whole time. She wasn't expecting it to be so dancey, she said.
Well, I think we mentioned this in the one of the episodes we did on the lyrical system. I said that their drums were pretty much techno.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is a sort of danceability to it, even though it's absolutely not goth rock.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What did we say? It was the old Lynn. Was it the Lynn drums that he famously used? Sorry, I'm fighting with.
No, it was the other one.
Professor Dogger. It was SP404 at one point, wasn't it?
I can't remember. It's all too technical for me.
Not one of these.
Not one of those.
I'm not going to lift that up.
Not a
It's all
classic
connected.
boss for BR3.
But it is. I think they started on one of those sort of very early. Fucking hell.
No, I wouldn't play.
No. Give me the rope. Give me the rope, Professor Dogger.
Professor Dogger.
So, and they finished on Corrosion.
Right.
They did one encore and came back for like 2 songs. Visually, it was spectacular.
Was it? With lighting.
Yep, it was just. I just felt that Eldritch looked a bit confused and he didn't really interact.
Well, he's getting on a bit now, isn't he?
Yeah, sure he is, and he's done a lot of recreational things in his time, so maybe he is a bit
He
confused.
spent some time living above the chemist, as they say. Yes.
I mean, it was, like I said, I'm really happy I went. I enjoyed it, but I was just a little bit disappointed, mainly at the quality of the sound and the interaction with the audience. But I'm super happy with it.
Well, it sounds like two guitarists you saw were both new.
Do you think they're new then?
Oh, well, the woman certainly knew. I had no idea he had a woman at all.
Right.
But the other one, if he was big and buff, he's probably not either of the two that have been around for the last 10 years.
Right.
So,
Yeah, he was young. Well, young.
yeah.
Early 30s.
The fact is, if they've managed to gel enough to be enjoyable for some of it, that's probably quite impressive, really.
I mean, like I said, the female guitarist was way down in the mix, and she
Yeah.
was mainly playing backing stuff. But the lead guitarist was flawless.
No.
Flawless. Almost I'd say soulless. But it was just this very compressed digital sound that I didn't.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like the effects I've heard necessarily. When I've seen them, it's always been one guitarist playing the sort of sledgehammer riffs, and another one doing the pretty stuff.
Yeah.
Not so much lead and rhythm, but just different. Sort of
Yeah, I mean,
roles.
Yeah. So it was good. So when was the last time you saw him?
Oh, quite a long time ago, 2008, 2009.
Right.
Probably.
14, 15 years ago.
Yeah, which makes quite a difference. And he wasn't young then.
Yeah. So as you know, it must be 60.
I'm born in 59, so 60.
4.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. But it was great.
Well, good.
And
That's very good.
yeah, I mean, and soon we'll have my feedback on watching one of our other.
Yes.
The feedback on watching The Cult.
But it's a special styly gig, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not The Cult. It's the 2023 40-year anniversary of the 1983 release of the Death Cult album.
Yeah.
So.
One of these days we have to do a band that people have heard of and are young and happening.
We did Lana Del Raymond.
She's pushing 40.
Oh, I thought she was. We did Billie Eilish on one of our previous.
We did, but we haven't released it. So
Yeah, it's true.
We also did a Taylor Swift.
We did do
again,
Taylor.
not released. So,
Oh,
yeah.
Maybe we'll do those as a special.
Yeah. Anyway, we have to get on with another special in our limited time to record it, so we're going to end this here.
Dogger!
And there's Professor Dogger out of nowhere.
I don't have my tonsils anymore.
Yes. Excellent. So, hope you enjoyed that little review, which we will post free, gratis, and for nothing on our channel. And see you soon. Farewell.